Fox Cross. Dreamed a dream by the old canal, kissed my girl by the factory wall. Dirty old town, dirty old town.
Heard a siren from the docks, saw a train set the night on fire, smelled the spring in the smoky wind.
Dirty old town, dirty old town. Clouds a-drifting across the moon, cats are prowling on their beat. Spring's a girl in the street at night. Dirty old town, dirty old town. I'm going to make a good sharp ass, shining steel tempered in the fire. We'll chop you down like an old dead tree. Dirty old town, dirty old town. I've been over Snowdon, I've slept up on Crowden, I've camped by the Wainstones as well. I've sunbathed on Kinder, been burned to a cinder, and many more things I can tell. My rucksack has oft been my pillow, the heather has oft been my bed, and sooner than part from the mountains, I think I would rather be dead. I'm a rambler from Manchester way. I get all my pleasure the hard moorland way. I may be a wage slave on Monday, but I am a free man on Sunday. The day was just ending as I was descending by Grindsbrook just by Upper Tongue, when a voice cried, "Hey you," in the way keepers do. He'd the worst face that ever I saw. The things that he said were unpleasant. In the teeth of his fury I said, sooner than part from the mountains, I think I would rather be dead. I'm a rambler from Manchester way. I get all my pleasure the hard moorland way. I may be a wage slave on Monday, but I am a free man on Sunday. I once loved a maid, a spot welder by trade. She was fair as the rowan in bloom, and and the blue of her eye matched the June moorland sky, and I wooed her from April till June. On the day that we should have been married, I went for a ramble instead, for sooner than part from the mountains, I think I would rather be dead. I'm a rambler from Manchester way. I get all my pleasure the hard moorland way. I may be a wage slave on Monday, but I am a free man on Sunday. So I'll walk where I will, over mountain and hill, and I'll lie where the bracken is deep. I belong to the mountains, the clear running fountains, where the grey rocks rise rugged and steep. I've seen the white hare in the gully, and the curlew fly high overhead, and sooner than part from the mountains, I think I would rather be dead. I'm a rambler from Manchester way. I get all my pleasure the hard moorland way. I may be a wage slave on Monday, but I am a free man on Sunday.
First time ever I saw your face, I thought the sun was in your eyes, and the moon and stars were the gift you gave to the dark and empty skies, my love, to the dark and empty skies. The first time ever I kissed your mouth, I felt the earth move in my hand, like the trembling heart of a captive bird that was there at my command, my love, that was there at my command. The first time ever I lay with you and felt your heart beat over mine, I thought our joy would fill the earth and last till the end of time, my love, and last till the end of time.
I'm a freeborn man of the travelling people, got no fixed abode, with nomads I am numbered. Country lanes and byways were always my ways, I never fancied being lumbered. Oh, we knew the woods, all the resting places, and the small birds sang when winter time was over. Then we'd pack our load and be on the road. They were good old times for a rover. There was open ground where a man could linger, stay a week or two, for time was not your master. Then away you'd jog with your horse and dog, nice and easy, no need to go faster. Now and then you'd meet up with other travelers, hear the news or else swap family information. At the country fairs we'd be meeting there all the people of the traveling nation. Oh, I've known life hard and I've known it easy, and I've cursed the life when winter days were dawning. But I've danced and sang through the whole night long, seen the summer sunrise in the morning. All you freeborn men of the traveling people, every tinker, rolling stone and gypsy rover, winds of change are blowing, old ways are going, your traveling days will soon be over.
My mama told me I should never venture into space, but I did. She said no Terran girl could trust the Martian race, but I did. A rocket pilot asked me on a voyage to go, and I was so romantic I just couldn't say no. That he was just a servo robot, how was I to know? So I did. My papa warned me never trust a space engineer, but I did. He said free fall and super drive would surely cost me dear, and they did. But I've been as far in hyperspace as anybody can. I've traveled through the time warp on the psycho plan. They say a gal must travel for to find her Superman, and I did. They warned me not to go around among the asteroids, but I did. They said I'd make those class 3 mutants dreadfully annoyed, and I did. They said that Saturn was too hot, Venus not much fun, and bug-eyed monsters tended to be just a trifle dumb. They said I'd need a blaster and a needle freezer gun, and I did. find a man out there and try to settle down. So I did, I did, I did. They said my kids might grow up one-eyed, green or bald or round. And they did, they did, they did. My cosmic husband died of mumps 100 years ago. My daughter's in the Milky Way, tracking down her bow. And I'm so old and doddering, I've nothing for to show. But I did, I did, I did.
In a neat little town they called Belfast, apprenticed to trade I was bound, and many an hour's sweet happiness have I spent in that neat little town. A bad misfortune come over me, which caused me to stray from the land, far away from me friends and relations, betrayed by the Black Velvet Band. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds, I thought her the queen of the land, and the hair it hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. I took a stroll down Broadway, meaning not long for to stay, when who should I see but a pretty fair maid come tripping along the pathway. I took a stroll with this pretty fair maid, and a gentleman passing us by. I knew she meant a doing for him by the look in her roguish black eye. His watch she took from his pocket and placed it right into me hand. And the very next thing that I said was bad luck to the Black Velvet Band. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds, I thought her the queen of the land, and the hair it hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. Before the judge and jury, next morning I had to appear. The judge, he said to me, young man, your case it is proved clear. I'll give you 7 years penal servitude to be spent right away from the land, far away from your friends and relations, betrayed by the Black Velvet Band. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds, I thought her the queen of the land, and the hair it hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. So come on, you jolly young fellas, I'll have you take warning by me. When you go out on the liquor, me boys, beware of your pretty colleens. They'll treat you to strong drink, me boys, till you are not able to stand. And before you have time for to leave 'em, they'll land you in Van Diemen's Land. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds, I thought her the queen of the land, and the hair it hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. and darkness I was born. Go down. Out of the hard black cold face I was torn. Go down. Kicked on the world and the earth split open, crawled through a crack where the rock was broken, burrowed a hole away in the cold. Go down. In a cradle of coal in the darkness I was laid. Go down. Down in the dirt and darkness I was raised. Go down. Cut me teeth on a 5-foot timber, held up the roof with my little finger, started me time away in the mine. Go down. On the day that I was born I was 6 foot tall. Go down. And the very next day I learned the way to hoe. Go down. On the third day worked at board and pillar, worked on the fourth as a long wall filler, getting me steam up here in the seam. Go down. I'm the son of the son of the son of a collier's son. Go down. Coal dust flows in the veins where the blood should run. Go down. 5 steel ribs and an iron backbone, teeth that can bite through rock and black stone, working me time away in the mine. Go down. 300 years I hewed at the coal by hand. Go down. In the pits of Durham and East Northumberland. Go down. Been gassed and burned and blown asunder, buried more times than I can number, digging a hole away in the coal. Go down. I've scrabbled and picked at the face where the roof is low. Go down. Crawled in the seams where only a mole could go. Go down. In the thin-cut seams I've ripped and readied where even the rats are born bow-legged, digging a hole away in the coal. Go down. I've worked in the Hutton, the Plessy, the Brockwell seam. Go down. The Bensham, the Busty, the Beaumont, the Marshall Green. Go down. Laying on me back in the old 3/4, up to the chin in stinking water, hewing a hole away in the coal. Go down. Out of the darkness I was born. Go down. Out of the hard black coal face I was torn. Go down. Lived in the shade of the high pit heap, I'm still down there where the seams are deep, but digging a hole away in the coal. Go down.
With our nets and gear we're faring on the wild and wasteful ocean. It's there on the deep that we harvest and reap our bread, as we're following the shoals of Herring. Oh, it was a fine and a pleasant day. Out of Yarmouth Harbour I was faring as a cabin boy on a sailing lugger, for to go and hunt the shoals of Herring. Oh, the work was hard and the hours were long, and the treatment sure it took some bearing. There was little kindness and the kicks were many as we hunted for the shoals of Herring. Oh, we fished the sward and the broken bank, I was cook and I'd a quarter sharing, and I used to sleep standing on my feet, and I'd dream about the shoals of Herring. Oh, we left the home grounds in the month of June, and for canny shields we soon was bearing, with 100 crown of the silver darlings that we'd taken from the shoals of Herring. Now you're up on deck, you're a fisherman, you can swear and show a manly bearing. Take your turn on watch with the other fellas while you're searching for the shoals of Herring. In the stormy seas and the living gales, just to earn your daily bread you're daring, from the Dover Straits to the Faroe Islands, while you're following the shoals of Herring. Oh, I earned me keep and paid me way, and I earned the gear that I was wearing. Sailed 1,000,000 miles, caught 10 million fishes. We were sailing after shoals of Herring.
An old man came to me, hey, dum down. An old man came courting me, hey, down. An old man came courting me, fain would he marry me. Maids, when you're young, never wed an old man, for he's got no little, he's got no little all day. He's got no fallotum, he's lost his ding durum. So maids, when you're young, never wed an old man. When we went to church, hey, down. When we went to church, hey, down. When we went to church, he left me in the lurch. Maids, when you're young, never wed an old man, for he's got no little, he's got no little all day. He's got no fallotum, he's lost his ding durum. So maids, when you're young, never wed an old man. When we went to bed, hey, down. When we went to bed, hey, down. When we went to bed, he neither done nor said. Maids, when you're young, never wed an old man, for he's got no little, he's got no little all day. He's got no fallotum, he's lost his ding durum. So maids, when you're young, never wed an old man. When he went to sleep, hey, down. When he went to sleep, hey, down. When he went to sleep, out of bed I did creep into the arms of a jolly young man. And I found this little, I found this little all day. I found his fallotum, he got my ding durum. So maids, when you're young, never wed an old man.
The old ways are changing, ye can't deny. The day o' the traveller's over. There's nae to gang and there's nae to bide, so farewell to the life o' the rover.
Goodbye to the tent and the old caravan, to the tinker, the gypsy, the travelling man, and goodbye to the 30-foot trailer.
Farewell to the cant and the travelling tongue, farewell to the Romany talking, the buying and selling, the old fortune telling, the knock on the door and the hawking.
Goodbye to the tent and the old caravan, to the tinker, the gypsy, the travelling man, and goodbye to the 30-foot trailer.
You've got to move fast to keep up with the times, for these days a man can't donder. There's a bylaw to say him and be on your way, and another to say you can't wander.
Goodbye to the tent and the old caravan, to the tinker, the gypsy, the travelling man, and goodbye to the 30-foot trailer.
Farewell to the besoms o' heather and broom, farewell to the creel and the basket. The folks o' today, they would far sooner pay for a thing that's been made out of plastic.
Goodbye to the tent and the old caravan, to the tinker, the gypsy, the travelling man, and goodbye to the 30-foot trailer.
The old ways are passing and soon they'll be gone, for progress is aye a big factor. It's empty afflictors, and when they evict us, they tow us away a tractor.
Goodbye to the tent and the old caravan, to the tinker, the gypsy, the travelling man, and goodbye to the 30-foot trailer.
Farewell to the pony, the cob and the mare, the reins and the harness are idle. You don't need the strap when you're breaking up scrap, so farewell to the bit and the bridle.
Goodbye to the tent and the old caravan, to the tinker, the gypsy, the travelling man, and goodbye to the 30-foot trailer.
Farewell to the fields where we've sweated and toiled at pooing and shawing and lifting. They'll soon heave machines on the trevel and queens, and our men folk had better be shifting.
Goodbye to the tent and the old caravan, to the tinker, the gypsy, the travelling man, and goodbye to the 30-foot trailer.
Peggy Gordon, you're my darling. Come sit you down here all by my knee. Tell me that very reason why I'm slighted so by thee. I am so deep in love, I cannot deny it. My heart is troubled all in my breast. wishing Peggy Gordon was there.
In 1841, me corduroy breeches I put on. Me corduroy breeches I put on to work upon the railway, the railway. I'm weary of the railway, poor Paddy works on the railway. In 1842 from Hartlepool I moved to Crewe and found myself a job to do, working on the railway. I was wearing corduroy breeches, digging ditches, pulling switches, dodging hitches. I was working on the railway. In 1843 I broke me shovel across my knee and went to work for the company on the Leeds and Selby Railway. I was wearing corduroy breeches, digging ditches, pulling switches, dodging hitches. I was working on the railway. In 1844 I landed on the Liverpool shore. Me belly was empty, me hands were raw with working on the railway, the railway. I'm weary of the railway, poor Paddy works on the railway. In 1845, when Daniel O'Connell, he was alive, when Daniel O'Connell, he was alive and working on the railway. I was wearing corduroy breeches, digging ditches, pulling switches, dodging hitches. I was working on the railway. In 1846 I changed my trade from caddy and bricks, changed my trade from caddy and bricks to working on the railway. I was wearing corduroy breeches, digging ditches, pulling switches, dodging hitches. I was working on the railway. In 1847 poor Paddy was thinking of going to heaven. Poor Paddy was thinking of going to heaven and working on the railway, the railway. I'm weary of the railway, poor Paddy works on the railway. I was wearing corduroy breeches, digging ditches, pulling switches, dodging hitches. I was working on the railway. In the town of Springhill, Nova Scotia, down in the dark of the Cumberland mine, there's blood on the coal and the miners lie in the roads that never saw sun or sky, roads that never saw sun or sky. In the town of Springhill you don't sleep easy. Often the earth will tremble and roll. When the earth is restless, miners die. Bone and blood is the price of coal. Bone and blood is the price of coal. In the town of Springhill, Nova Scotia, late in the year of 58, day still comes and the sun still shines, but it's dark as the grave in the Cumberland mine, dark as the grave in the Cumberland mine. Down at the coalface miners working, rattle of the belts and the cutter's blade, rumble of rock and the walls close round the living and the dead men 2 miles down, living and the dead men 2 miles down. 12 men lay 2 miles from the pit shaft, 12 men lay in the dark and sang long hot days in a miner's tomb. It was 3 feet high and 100 long, 3 feet high and 100 long. 3 days passed and the lamps gave out, and Caleb rushed and he up and said, there's no more water nor light nor bread, so we'll live on songs and hope instead, live on songs and hope instead. Listen for the shouts of the barefaced miners, listen through the rubble for the rescue team. 600 feet of coal and slag, hope imprisoned in a 3-foot seam, hope imprisoned in a 3-foot seam. 8 days passed and some were rescued, leaving the dead to lie alone. Through all their lives they dug a grave, 2 miles of earth for a marking stone, 2 miles of earth for a marking stone. I met me girl at Woolwich Pier, beneath a big crane standing, and oh, the love I felt for her, it passed all understanding. Took a sailing on the river Flow, sweet river Flow. London town was mine to give her, sweet Thames flow softly, made the Thames into a crown. Flow, sweet river flow, made a brooch of silver town, sweet Thames flow softly. At London Yard I held a hand, at Blackwall Point I faced her, at the Isle of Dogs I kissed her mouth and tenderly embraced her. Heard the bells of Greenwich ringing, flow, sweet river flow. All the time my heart was singing, sweet Thames flow softly. Limehouse Reach I gave her there, flow, sweet river flow. As a ribbon for her hair, sweet Thames flow softly. From Shadwell Dock to Nine Elms Reach, we cheek to cheek were dancing. A necklace made of London Bridge her beauty was enhancing. Kissed her once again at Wapping, flow, sweet river flow. After that there was no stopping.
Sweet Thames, flow softly.
Richmond Park, it was a ring.
Flow, sweet river, flow.
I'd have given her anything.
Sweet Thames, flow softly.
From Rotherhithe to Putney Bridge, me love I was declaring, and she from Kew to Isleworth, her love for me was swearing. Love had set me heart a burning.
Flow, sweet river, flow.
Never saw the tide was turning.
Sweet Thames, flow softly.
Gave a Hampton coat to twist.
Flow, sweet river, flow.
Into a bracelet for her wrist.
Sweet Thames, flow softly.
But now, alas, the tide is changed. Me love, she has gone from me, and winter's frost has touched me heart and put a blight upon me. Creeping foggies on the river flow.
Sweet river, flow.
Sun and moon and stars gone with her.
Sweet Thames, flow softly.
Swift the Thames runs to the sea.
Flow, sweet river, flow.
Bearing ships and part of me.
Sweet Thames, flow softly.